You seem to still be up there somewhere.
Maybe I am. There are flying saucers.
Supposing they're Martians or something in there.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Weird Wednesday. I'm SubmitWeird, and this is
Cassie.
And also...
Producer Nate. Hey.
Producer Nate. You caught me off such guard that I can't talk. I'm like almost speechless, but stuttering instead. I'm starstruck.
I do have that effect on people. Sorry.
I'm so excited to have you join. This is obviously in line with the last time and the only time that you've been on the show. Obviously, this is our goodbye announcement. We are canceling the show. I'm just kidding. That's not...
Don't
Guys,
say
I'm too
that.
much. Way too much of an attention whore for that. Come on. Let's be so for real. That's not going to
Just
happen.
got here.
Right? No, I'm joking, but yeah, thanks for coming back on and joining us. I think people are going to be excited to, finally hear from you in a different perspective. So,
yeah, I heard you needed someone to come on and be like angry and kind of curmudgeon-y about something. And I saw the topic for this week and I was like, I have special little insight on this. So I'm glad to be on.
I needed an angry Midwesterner. So you got cast for the role. Kicking things off, Nate, how was your weekends?
My weekend was very busy, but very good. I went over to the Wisconsin Film Festival this weekend, which takes place here in Madison, where I live, and they play. It's a lot of movies. I went and saw 3. I do some work with a local community radio station here in town, and I'm reviewing some things with them. So I went and I saw 3 movies, which were all pretty good. Saw one that was called Maddie's Secret, which is a comedy that is sort of a parody of like an after-school special from like the late 90s, early 2000s. Starring John Early, who's a comedian in drag as Maddie, who is a food influencer with bulimia.
You just said a lot right there.
Yeah, it certainly is a lot, and it was pretty good. Saw a movie on the World Porridge Making Competition, which was also very good. But the one that I really want to talk about, and that I think are either of you two familiar with the band The Shags?
No.
So the Shags were a band in the 1960s, and basically what happened was the band was 3 sisters, 3 girls, and their grandma had her palm read, and the person reading the palm, the psychic, said, your son will marry a strawberry blonde. You will have 3 daughters, and your 3 daughters will go on to form a world famous rock band. And what do you know? He went on to marry a strawberry blonde, and then they had 3 daughters together. Oh. So Dad was like, okay, you guys are a band now. This is the prophecy. You guys will be world famous. And basically, yeah, he just forced his kids to be in a band, like a 60s bubblegum pop rock band type thing. And I would highly recommend you listen to some of their songs. They have both been called the worst band that has ever existed, and Not Really Music.
Oh, I love that.
But also Kurt Cobain called them, I believe, his 3rd favorite album of all time was their debut album. Wow. And I know like Frank Zappa was really high on them. They were really big on Dr. Demento back in the day, I believe. Just 3 girls with just no sense of music whatsoever. You have the drummer playing at one tempo, while the two guitarists, they have 1 drummer and 2 guitars and 2 singers for whatever reason. And they're all playing at different tempos. None of the instruments are in tune. They're singing about My Pal Foot, and it's baffling to listen to. but the documentary was just sort of, it interviewed the living members and just sort of like, here's what was going on. Here's sort of the history. We Are the Shags is the name of the documentary, and it was wonderful.
Nice.
They kind of knew that they weren't very good, but also they kind of thought that they were okay, which, again, I would recommend you can find them on all the streaming services now. It's just go listen to some Shags, listen about my pal Foot.
I mean, for whatever reason, they were destined to live this life, obviously.
The dad was right. At the end of the day, they are world famous now. Like they, a lot of bands cite them, like a lot of like weird bands cite them as a major influence. They played at like some big music festival in like 2017 or something. They had a reunion concert, opening for Wilco or something like that.
Wow.
And Kurt Cobain called them their album, his third favorite album of all time. So they did become world famous. Maybe not in the way that they wanted, but they were world famous.
Wow.
That's an accomplishment still. Who cares if it's the way you want it?
Yeah.
True.
As long as you're not out there killing people for it. Like,
Yeah, well, true. That's fair.
And they seem perfectly well adjusted today, and they're totally fine. Like they don't seem to like hold a grudge against their father or anything. It's like, yeah, he was just kind of like that. We didn't like doing it, but
Yeah, I just saw that Britney Spears is going to rehab, and man, I don't have anything bad to say about her very specifically, just that she's so fucked. She got fucked all the way up. And a lot of people that are young stars do. So good for them. That's my point.
yeah, it's really easy to get fucked over by the music industry.
Yeah.
Or just the showbiz industry, I guess. But, if you can come out the other side and be like, yeah, we gave it a shot.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, well,
then come out fine.
Being a regular jerk off, it's got its downsides too. So
Yeah.
Grass is always greener. Well, it sounds like an exciting weekend.
Yeah.
Lots
It's a
of
good
fun.
time. Good time.
Cassie, how was yours?
I went to my mom's Friday night and I had to babysit her dog while her and her husband went to the casino in Michigan for the weekend.
Oh, okay.
So Saturday, I sat in one place on the couch and I painted 23 paintings and I watched, what did I watch? One battle after another, then
Okay.
Christie, and then Ballerina, the John Wick one.
Yeah.
And yeah, just trying to prepare for my show on Saturday coming up.
Wow. So, am I hearing this right? You did some relaxing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I got so much work done.
Wow. I know, right? Well, good for you.
It was quite quiet.
What kind of dog is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Is it small
His
or
name's
big?
Levi. He's a little guy.
Oh, just a little guy. You could just
He's
take
really
him with you.
Oh, a Levi dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Levi kind.
Yeah.
Well, that also sounds like a very nice weekend.
Yeah, it was good. How about you?
Wow. I also had a very nice weekend. I'm just gonna be so for real. I can't even front on you guys, man. I played so much Mario Party, it would make your fucking head spin.
Hell yeah.
I got Mario Party Jamboree on my Switch for Christmas, and my daughter Friday night, she's like, "Hey, how about we crack open that Mario Party?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah." And then I don't know, man. You play one game, and all of a sudden you played 10 rounds, and you're just like, "What have I done?" So I did that majority of my weekend, and that's fine. But I did other things too. Saturday, I went and saw the new Faces of Death movie.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
Yeah. It went great. First of all, I went with a coworker that I'd never met before. So we're mutuals on Facebook, and I went to her page because I had a bunch of people that like, I put out a Facebook post. I'm like, anybody
Yeah,
want
I
to go see
saw
this
that. You had a
movie?
bunch of people.
Bunch of people, right? And I'm like, let's all go as a group or whatever. And so I made like a group chat, but like, she was the first one because she was the last one to comment. So I went to her page to kind of start the group chat, and I saw that she works at my job, and I was like,
Mm.
hey, you work at my job? And she's like, what? And so I went and looked her up on Teams, and sure enough, there she is. And yeah, and so I had her to the group chat, and we kind of bonded over that. Nobody else showed up.
Really?
Yep, nobody else showed up. But you know what? What's not surprising is if you go back and you go look at those comments, a lot of them are, guess what? Men above the age of 45. Some of them don't even live in Ohio that claim to want to go. And even the ones that did, they like the one guy had messaged me separately, and he was like, "I'll go with you. I'll even drive you there."
Mm.
And but you know what? I added him to the group chat. Okay, let's test that. You want to go see this movie with me, right? Just as friends, hang out, right? And then guess who didn't show up?
Yeah.
So stop being weird to women on the internet, guys. We don't like it. Don't pretend to be our friend. Like just be our friend, and then maybe if maybe it goes somewhere if you just treat us like human beings. Fuck. But anyways, it was just me and her, and that was totally fine. We had a great time. We bonded really well. It was very silly because I get in her car. She drove, and I let her drive me, of course, because I know where she works. But I get in her car, and she's like, this is so cool because you have like such a huge following. And I'm just like, I don't know, I guess. Like I'm just me. I'm just a person. I'm just weird, and people seem to like that. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're so humble. It just felt strange.
Wow.
But I thought, it was flattering. It was cute, right? I was like, oh man,
Did she listen?
I don't know. I don't know if she does or doesn't. I don't know how she found me on social media. I think we do have mutual friends in real life, and that's kind of how that worked. But I don't think so. I don't think so because you know what? We were talking, and she's like, yeah, she was like, I don't really like podcasts because I want to watch something. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine. So I don't think
Oh,
so.
gotcha.
Which is, some people are like that, and that's okay. But yeah, it was just like I said, it was really sweet. I thought that was funny, and I guess I forget that sometimes that people think that I'm really cool, and and you know what? They're right. So
They are right.
they're so right. But anyway, back to the movie. So we go to the actual movie and we watch it, and I had a really good time. Like I'll be honest with you, it was a good movie. Yeah, genuinely enjoyed it. But
Really?
I genuinely was interested the whole time. What's his name? However you say it, Dacker Montgomery, is that how you say it? Dacker, whatever his name is. Billy from Stranger Things. He
Yeah.
was the villain. He played a great villain. But it's not it's not Faces of Death.
Okay, it's just a
Well,
regular horror movie.
it's okay. I'll tell you because I know people want to know, and maybe some people are afraid to go see it because you're worried about what you might see. Because Faces of Death is like extreme, right?
The first one, yeah.
It's fake. It's all
Right.
fake. I mean, there's some stuff in there spliced in, but for the most part, like it's all fake. Like, yes, no, they really didn't need those monkey brains. That was all fake, y'all. That guy really wasn't executed. That was all fake. But anyway, but it's intense, right? And you're like, some people might be worried about going and seeing it. It's about a serial killer who is making viral videos on the internet, recreating the deaths and Faces of Death with real people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's a social commentary on gore and how we're kind of desensitized to it, and going viral and being kind of making your whole personality the internet, because like he's got like a super hard on for the fact that like people are talking about him online. Yeah, and the final girl in the movie um was part of a viral video on the internet where her sister died on the video, and people know her as the girl from the video because she was alive, while her sister died. Anyway, but it's good, it's fun. Some things that I really want to talk about, I don't feel like people are talking about enough, is the main character, Barbie something.
That's her real name?
Barbie Ferreira. Yeah, it is.
Oh.
or something like that. I should look it up. I'm being so rude by not. But, let me tell you something. It was so refreshing to get, I would just say it, an overweight final girl. Like, she's a big girl. And, having her in that shining role is just really a breath of fresh air, something that obviously we don't see a lot in horror movies. And she's beautiful. I mean, gosh, that sounds like I'm belittling
Yeah.
fat people, but I'm allowed. I'm a fat
Barbie
people.
Ferreira.
Yeah, Barbie Ferreira. So yeah, she was great. And then the other women too. There is like a content creator girl on there in there, and she's
Charlie
stereotypical.
XCX is in there.
That's her. Yep, that's the one. She plays the content creator. And she's obviously like conventionally beautiful, but all the other women that you see are like very natural. They got big old bushy eyebrows. Like they look like real women.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, like I said, I love that. And I think that, I don't know, it's kind of neat to have that. Don't get me wrong. I love our conventionally attractive women as well. I just love women, but I like to see all of them. And in this one, it delivers on that. But no, it is good. But I don't know. I made a post about it and it was super vague because I knew I was going to talk about it a little bit on the show. And I had said, I don't know what else you would call this movie. Because like I said, it's not Faces of Death, and I would have been fine to have a mockumentary Faces of Death in 2026. I think it could work because I had said up until this point, gore now is free. You can find real life people dying on the internet in like 5 minutes. And so something like Faces of Death, it was big and controversial because you couldn't just watch people die at your leisure.
Right.
A big deal, whereas now you definitely can. But I think a shockumentary, or I'm sorry, mockumentary rather, about death in the Faces of Death, kind of silly because it was real silly. I mean, come on, the doctor's name is Dr. Francis B. Gross in the original. It's real campy. I think you could make that work in 2026, but it's okay. I like that they're going in this direction. I think they're actually going to try to make this like a new franchise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I don't know how I feel about the fact that it's going to go under the name Faces of Death. So.
Yeah, it
Maybe the
probably
next
shouldn't
one
go
will be
under
called
that.
like Mondo Cane or something.
Yeah, right. I'm
Yeah.
right. I'm like, are they going to do them all now? They could do Mondo Cane. They could
Why
do
not?
Faces of Death, banned on television. Remember that one? I had so many of these. I think I still have a bunch of them on DVD. I had a bunch on VHS for a while, but I got rid of my VCR. So. But yeah, no, I think that would be cool. Yeah, if you just start, but then what? It's every time it's just some crazy guy recreating the kills. I don't know, but anyway, it was a lot of fun. Again, there's a lot of really stupid stuff in it, like the killings. And he does recreate the killings, but the people carrying out the killings are mannequins that he sets up, and so like that's kind of real fucking goofy. That's silly. But I just can get over it because I had so much fun watching it. I just didn't even care. There's like unrealistic reactions from like real people. Like even the police don't react appropriately. And, when she finally goes to and it's just, like I said, it's unbelievable, but like, that's fine. I didn't care about that. But it was surprisingly not very gory. Like almost all of the deaths. Yeah, they're done with guns,
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of sadly that means that social commentary is kind of working on us, right? Because like the whole point is like we're desensitized to it, and for us to be like, oh yeah, they were just killed by guns, that's not a big deal. And obviously it's a big deal to be killed by anything, and gun violence we're clearly desensitized to here in America. But for a horror movie, come on,
Right, they need to do jigsaw shit. Like
the practical effects, right? That was the winner of Faces of Death. That's why so many people thought it was real.
The people demand monkey brains.
We need monkey brains. Well, and there was people eating a guy's brains, and I guess so. I mean, there was that, but there wasn't really people eating a guy's brains. It was mannequins again, or standing around him with his head scalped. So it was weird. I'm just saying, they could have done better with the gore, but okay. But it's pretty safe to go watch. There's no animal death in it, obviously. But I thought for sure they would have they have like scenes of the original Faces of Death spliced into the movie, but nothing real. None of the real stuff. It's all the recreated stuff that they did for Faces of Death. But I would have liked for them to push the envelope and showed real gore, and maybe that makes me fucking sick, but that's what makes it a Faces of Death movie, is to push it, and they didn't push it. So that's my only big complaint about that one.
I think the fact that you have to say, don't worry, there's no animal death when it's a movie about people dying, like, really shows how Americans give a fuck anymore. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I could watch like people die all day long. Watching animals die, I can't do it.
I can do it on movies.
If it's fake,
Yeah.
I don't know. Even the fake stuff, I'm like,
But I don't want to
kill
see it in
all.
real life, just to like, I don't want to see somebody get shot in real life.
I guess I don't want to see people get shot in real life either. But I don't know. It's a weird world out there. But are you ready for the big contrast of my weekend?
Yeah.
So then on Sunday, I went to the movies again.
What?
Yep.
2 trips?
2 trips to the movies. And I saw the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Of course you did. And you
Yep.
loved it.
It was fucking fantastic. 9 out of 10. Listen, it's amazing. This was a lot of fun. They did so good with the first one, and they didn't let up with this one either. I'm so emotional, you guys. It's really sad. There's like a part where like Yoshi hatches out of the egg, and I'm like crying. I'm like, oh my god, it's Yoshi.
What is wrong with you?
But didn't cry once during Faces of Death. I laughed. I don't know. I got emotional over an animated dinosaur. It's just me. I don't know. But it was really good. They did lots of cameos. They did this fucking hilarious joke with Rob the Robots, if you know that from Nintendo. Fox was in it. Fox from Star Fox was like a main character for a good chunk of it. Like, that was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Go see it after you watch Faces of Death for a good palate cleanser.
I'm saving my movie theater experience this year for Scary Movie 6.
What do you do? You go once a year?
Well, yeah, nobody ever goes with me, so I never really go.
You don't have to. You can go by yourself.
I'm not doing that.
Solo movies are the best.
It's very normal.
Well, I mean, that's fine, but then I'll have, like,
Nobody to talk to.
Brandon being like, did you really go to the movies by yourself? Well, yeah, motherfucker, you wouldn't go with me.
You were at home watching Antiques Roadshow. Shut the fuck up. I had to go. I had to get out of here.
I'm making him go to this one, though. Just like I made him go to the Beetlejuice 2 with me.
Yeah, you're not going to go see, what is it, Disclosure Day with Spielberg's new thing?
No, I don't even know what that is.
What?
It's about
Nate,
aliens.
you know?
Yeah,
Okay,
looks great.
It does. It looks fantastic. It's an alien movie.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg making an alien movie. Again.
Again.
I mean, at least he's good at it.
He loves aliens. Yeah, he's
Right.
all about it.
But no, I didn't know about. I don't really know about like stuff that's coming out unless it comes across like my Facebook scrolling.
Do you think we can get Spielberg on the show?
Yeah. Probably. We just got to get more everybody in Vietnam. Share the show.
I'll do some reaching out.
We know you're there. Yeah, no, absolutely.
My several hundred friends in Vietnam will as well.
Yeah, he loves Vietnam, I hear. No, probably. I've got a celebrity wish list. It's Dan Aykroyd and Jack Black.
Yeah.
And that's it so far. But Spielberg, yeah, probably eventually one of these days. Make it happen, internet. Make it.
I have to go get my Netflix card so I can watch Anaconda on Netflix.
You have to get your Netflix card?
Yeah, I don't pay for it because I'm like, I won't cancel it. I'll forget about it. So I just go to Walmart and buy like the gift card and sign up. So when my $9.99 runs out, it just stops.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That is a really good idea, actually. I really enjoy that. You could do like we'll talk about it after the show, but you can do like a virtual card online too. And like, it's a one time you add your money to it and then it disappears after that.
Yeah, but you're forgetting who you're talking to. I do not own a credit card or have a checking account, so I can't do that.
Well, it's 2026, Cassie. Get it together.
I have zero debt.
You're right. Fair enough. That's
Got us there.
Yeah, I can't Can't compete with that. So that's actually now I can, but just recently now. So, but give it a year. I'll be there again with more debt,
And I'll have zero still
and you'll still have
because
zero.
I have
Yeah.
no way to pay for things online, so I can't do it.
True. My God, I kind of miss those days now that I think about it. Actually, anyway, that was my weekend. It was pretty good.
Good.
It was pretty.
We all
good.
had good weekends.
We all had good weekends. Are we ready to talk about some news?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Nate, you brought a news, didn't you? Oh no, you did. Never mind. I'm just
No, I
kidding.
didn't bring any news.
Never mind.
Unless it's
You didn't-
about weird 60s outsider music bands or porridge.
It could
I don't
be.
really have any news.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had porridge.
I think it's just oatmeal.
It's it's not sweet, right? It's savory.
I think it's nothing.
Yeah, it's
I don't think
probably
it's
right.
anything.
That's fair. Well, I have one news. We'll talk about it. People have been talking all about it over in these paranormal circles. A woman in Oklahoma is attacked by an unknown creature. On March 29th, a woman by the name of Alicia Maxey, I think she was on her way to do a job or something for this couple. It's really unclear kind of what led up to this point. Either way, she shows up at this couple's house, steps out of the car, and is immediately mauled by some type of animal. She was actually found in the couple's yard about an hour after her arrival, laying there, but still alive. The homeowners found her. One of them happened to be an EMT and, of course, started, performing life-saving maneuvers to try to keep her, going while everybody showed up to come pick her up. They rushed her off to the hospital, and she has survived this attack, but we don't understand what has attacked her. So, getting more into that a little bit, obviously the homeowners didn't see anything. I don't know if they weren't home. I don't know if they were inside. That's not clear. But the condition of her body is it's pretty bad. So her one arm was basically completely degloved.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it was just bone and some meat. Her face was somehow unscathed. I mean, she's got several horrible, horrible injuries, and law enforcement's we've never seen anything like this before. We don't know what animal attacked her, and she has, she kind of gathered the strength a little bit to sort of come to, and was kind of talking to, I believe it was her sister. And what she said is that she got out of the car and she heard a growl, and all of a sudden this creature pounced onto her, and she said that it was, quote, dog-like, but unsure of what exactly that means. Her sister then says, well, but it's not a dog. She didn't say it was a dog. She says it's dog-like. Well, you know what's happening with this. Everybody knows what's happening to this. Of course, the cryptozoologists are calling it a dog man. She got attacked by a dog man, everybody. And, unfortunately, we've had instances where people are mauled to death by animals. She is going to make a recovery. She's got a long road ahead of her, but she is going to make a recovery. And again, it did not get her face, which is, even though you don't really use your face for too much, you never want your face to be fucked up. But
Yeah, I don't know why it feels better for your face to be saved as opposed to your arm, which you definitely use a lot more for things. But it does, I don't know, it does feel better.
Well, she does have both arms.
Okay.
Still, despite the one, like I said, being completely degloved, she does still have it. They are working on trying to, she can't move them right now. She can't move anything right now. She's kind of paralyzed. When questioned more, she just said, she told her family, I'm in too much pain right now to say anything else. So, she may give more insight into what attacked her. As a matter of fact, they have taken DNA samples from her clothing to try to figure out what creature has attacked her. And I guess those samples haven't been revealed yet, even though that was half a month ago. Here we are. But like I said, the community's going crazy. This is obviously a cryptid attack, and the truth will soon be revealed.
So they haven't even got a description from her yet?
Well, no, it was dog-like, is what she
Okay.
said.
So, okay.
It growled and it was dog-like.
Oh, gotcha.
But that could be anything. It could be a dog. It could be a coyote. It could be someone's pet wolf. It could have been a bear. I mean, we don't know what that means for her. Dog-like on all
I was
fours.
going to say, in the heat of the moment, you get a quick glance. You could see a bear as being kind of dog-like. If you
Yeah.
have, half a second before something's
Mountain
on top
lion.
of you. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Mountain
Anything on all
lion.
fours.
Mhm.
You could be like, oh, his dog is on all fours, is dog-like. That's what she said. We don't know yet, but again, they're going to DNA test it and figure out it exactly. I don't normally. I get very upset with the community for taking a tragedy like this and spinning it. I think it's really gross. But like I said, mostly because it's like people that were mauled to death, and it's like you have grieving families, and you have these insane super fans of like Dogman Encounters, which is a Dogman podcast and stuff like that, that start like hassling the family members, demanding to know, for them to confirm that this was in fact a Dogman. And
Yeah, that's not right for anybody
no,
to do.
it's
Yeah,
really gross.
as I might get into a little bit later, don't be harassing family members for anything. It's
Yeah. It's really, really disgusting. But in this case, you know what, y'all? Speculate away. You know why? Because here's the thing about Alicia and her story. Alicia has been working odd jobs supporting her family because her husband is on the donor list for a kidney. He
Oh,
has
wow.
been going through dialysis, of course, trying to just stay alive. And then this happens, and she's the only breadwinner for the family. And
Do they have a GoFundMe for her yet?
yes, they do. And I'm going to post
What?
that link in the description. So absolutely feel free to go give to Alicia and her family. And if you guys give enough and she survives, maybe she'll tell you her dog man story.
Right.
You know,
And the story goes to the top contributor.
exactly. Yep. The top one gets the story. Actually, they have raised about, as of recording this episode, about $41,000.
Good.
Yep,
I don't
they're
even
going-
want to know how much a whole like reconstructive arm's gonna be.
No. Yeah, that pales in comparison. Because here's a fucked up thing too. Like another piece of it, like she gets fucking mauled, right? Barely survives, literally by the skin of her arms, and the family at the house calls a fucking tow truck company, and they come and take her fucking car,
For what?
sitting in their driveway.
They couldn't move the fucking car?
Well, they thought that she probably wouldn't live, or she wouldn't come back to get it after she was attacked, or, but still, like you could have called, like you could have waited. Like she's got a whole husband, you could have waited and had like a family member or something come get it. The tow truck company fucking came and took it, so it was accruing, impound charges. But the tow truck company, now that they know what the story is, gave the car back at absolutely no cost. To the
As
family.
they should.
Yeah.
And then they should go and take the people's cars that called them.
Right. As some type of retribution. Yeah, it's
Right.
it's been a wild story. Like I said, definitely go check out that GoFundMe. Give what you can. $1. I mean, it adds up. If everybody listening to the show gave $1, you guys, it would make a huge difference. Or just share it out to people. And again, continue to talk about it. If you think it was a dog man, hey, put it out there on social media. Get word out there. That's fine. It's fine in this case. I give you permission.
Right. Draw all the attention to it as possible as long as you share the GoFundMe page.
Yeah. Tell Vic Cundiff with his Dogman Encounters radio to fucking get on it and share her GoFundMe out there. I bet he won't, but he should. That's I'm just going after all these people lately.
Someone has to.
Someone has to. You got to be the responsible one and stand up to some of these people. But yeah, it'll be exciting to see what the DNA comes back as, because who knows? Fuck, I don't know. Maybe it was a dog man.
Only the DNA will know.
It would be amazing. It would. Maybe it was a space werewolf. That'd be cool.
That'd be the best story ever if it was just a space werewolf.
Yeah.
Sell that one to Spielberg. She'll never need money.
That's right. So anyway, that was my news for the week. Let's get into tonight's very wordy topic, huh? This particular topic I've already talked about before on the podcast. This was, my God, it was probably in the first 20 episodes of the show. When I think about how long ago that was, it makes me feel like, what the fuck have I been doing with my life, you know? I'm just kidding. No, we're going to talk about the Smiley Face murder theory. This is a super interesting topic. And obviously, you know, again, Nate, we have you on here. You have,
Yeah.
you know, kind of some, I don't know, not necessarily special insight, but you've got some special expertise into some of the finer details of some of these cases.
I would maybe call it special insight
Yeah, maybe that's
into a very specific part of the story.
of all of this, which happens to be a really big part of the story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is super helpful. And, you know, Cassie, of course, you're here because you co-host the show. And so,
Yeah, thanks.
you know, that's...
Yeah, I'm here for that.
You're here for that. No, we were supposed to do this episode quite a while ago because it kind of made a resurgence for a second with a very specific case. And then, you know, we had some big changes to the show and things happened and life happened. But here we are now, and we'll definitely get into it. So let's talk about the Smiley Face murder killer theory. The reason why it is a theory is because this is all speculation originally coming from one team of two retired detectives who worked on some of these cases. But the gist of it is that there is a serial killer, mostly specifically within the Midwest, that has a very particular MO going around killing attractive, successful, college-age men and dumping their bodies into bodies of water. You know, the original start of this happened starting in 1997 with the death of Patrick McNeil, who was a Fordham University student. He was out one night with friends in February at the Dapper Dog in the state that I didn't list, I suppose. Yeah, I guess I didn't. Oh well. Where's Fordham University? It doesn't matter. Do you guys really care about that part, what state it happened in? Probably not.
No.
Probably not, no. But Mr. McNeil, he's out and about. He's with friends. He actually started to feel very sick as the night went on and actually ended up throwing up in the bathroom. He wasn't feeling too great. And so he's like, you know what, guys? I'm just gonna head home. Just gonna skedaddle out of here. Well, one of his female friends was like, I'm not gonna let you walk home by yourself. I'm gonna go with you. So
It's a good friend thing to do.
Good friend thing to do. So she's like, you know, you go say bye to everybody. I'm gonna wait for you outside. I'm ready to go home myself. You know, it'll be fine. So she goes outside and she waits for him. And he never came back. So she just kind of thought, well, you know, I guess he's super drunk. I guess he's decided maybe he's not gonna go home after all. I'm just gonna go ahead and head home. And that would be the last time that, you know, anybody would really talk about any interaction with Patrick. Patrick was spotted by witnesses walking, you know, stumbling down the sidewalk, obviously very, very drunk. And what was interesting about the witnesses, what they also noticed about Patrick is that the reason why nobody stopped to help him, despite him being all the way fucked up, was that there was a car also following him. And people just kind of assumed that this was friends of this guy. They knew this guy. I'm not sure why you would assume that. Would you assume that either of you, would you assume that that's somebody's friend following them home and not offering them a ride?
Listening to as many
No.
podcasts as I do, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, that's not what a friend would do. You know, that's a strange car following someone. I don't know. Personally, I would not notice if a car was following someone.
True.
But that's also because I would probably also in this scenario be drunk.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. You know, me
Unless
neither. I
he's
guess
like running in a sauna suit in the middle of the day and it's not his trainer, like that's weird.
that's fair. Yeah. Right. I mean, I probably wouldn't have noticed that. Well, I don't know. I smoke though too. So like if you're the only smoker in a group, which nobody was the only smoker in 1997, so this probably wouldn't be the case. But nowadays, I'll be the only smoker and I'll be outside. And I guess I will be more observant at that point and might notice something like that. But I would think it's fucking weird. So anyway, 50 days later, on April 7th, his body was found in the East River, which is about 12 miles from the Dapper Dog. That's a trek, it's a good 15, more than that. I mean, it's a good drive, good 25-minute drive. He was found only wearing jeans and socks, which is unusual in the Midwest in February, even for a water death. Usually they don't really lose their clothing like that.
I mean, it's not that unusual for the Midwest. Let's be real.
Well, that's true.
There are guys here in Wisconsin who are wearing shorts and no shirt year round.
True. He could have taken his clothes off especially if he's drunk.
Drunk.
You get hot.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
Right, absolutely. Take your clothes. I mean, I get drunk and take my clothes off just because I want to, So that certainly could have happened. But there was also, he had a blood alcohol level that was 0.16, which is twice the legal limit. So he was pretty fucking drunk. And there were fly larvae found in his groin area. The medical examiner stated,
dirty, or is there like
well, for fly larvae in that area in winter, it was kind of unusual because it's winter time. There's not a lot of flies, but I don't know though. Decomposing body and outside, like there are still flies. They didn't completely disappear in the wintertime. And we don't know. I guess I didn't look back to see what the temperatures were, but like I've worn like t-shirts on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's possible that it is ungodly warm.
But
in the
back
Midwest, you just
then,
never know.
I mean, winter was winter back then. We had like snow days because of actual snow, not just because it was cold.
True, that's true. I don't know. I was 6 years old. I don't really know what was going on at that time. So, but the medical examiner said that the fly larvae were actually from house flies. I don't know what the difference would be. I imagine that house flies also live outside and not just in the house. But that's what he stated. But the medical examiner did state that the body was already dead when it was dumped. That's what they said. And there were potential signs on the body of the body being burned and bound. So there were like ligature marks around the neck. They were burns just kind of, randomly throughout the body. I mean, but he's a college-age kid in the 90s. Like, you remember when you used to make a smiley face on your arm with a lighter?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, that's
I never
not
did it, but I do know people that have.
Know plenty of people that have, right? And so, I mean, that wasn't, it's not maybe necessarily strange without those wounds being, I don't know, deep or terrible. And even then, we don't know. He could have burned himself beforehand. But a very specific detective was working on the case, and this was Detective Kevin Gannon. So, Gannon kind of had issues because the police did end up, the medical examiner did end up classifying this as a drowning death. That's what it was. He was walking home drunk. He fell into the water. He ended up 12 miles away because it's a river and it does that. It moves. And there was just nothing strange about it. They wrote it off. Case closed. But Detective Gannon couldn't really just sit with that. And I don't know if he internalized this a little bit because he was just so close with the family. I don't know if, there were things that he saw that just didn't sit right with him. But he really couldn't let this go. And so somehow, as the years go by, Gannon had retired, I believe, in 2001. So not long after this particular murder takes place, he ends up retiring, but he's kind of following along with these cases because, you leave the force, but you never really leave the force. You got friends.
Right.
And, he's noticing similar deaths across the Midwest with basically the same MO. He gets a friend. He's got this detective friend, Anthony Duarte, I think, believe is, or Duarte is how that goes. And he was still actively investigating when Gannon had retired. And when they get together at the time of him investigating the case, him and Duarte were, working on the McNeil case, and they had concluded that McNeil was drugged, he was abducted, he was held captive, and then had his body dumped in the river after he died. Which is, that's a pretty extreme jump from accidental drowning to abduction, captivity, and death.
Right.
Yeah, you just kind of went into that.
That's a big one. But who knows? But, they kind of, like I said, they started kind of setting their sights on these similar cases. So, anytime there was an accidental drowning, they would kind of take a look at it. And what they started noticing during, which we're going to talk about some more here in a moment, but what they started noticing with these, college-aged, attractive, successful men was that, not only, of course, were they similar people, but there was one big thing that they were noticing where these bodies were found or in the area that these bodies were found, and that was a graffitied smiley face in the area.
Ooh.
A smiley face. Obviously Walmart is out there killing people.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You guys remember that? Walmart's smiley face? I don't use it anymore, do they?
No, they don't.
I don't think they do.
Bring back the smiley face. I like it better than the star that they use or whatever that is.
Probably all this bad publicity now.
That's, you know what? You're probably right, because
Yeah.
it was probably after their book or their little case study came out that they stopped using it. So, they start seeing these graffitied smiley faces, and we'll kind of get into maybe what that means. But to them, this was a calling card of sorts. Now, the smiley faces sometimes were found where the bodies were found. Sometimes they were found where they believed the bodies may have been dumped. So, but, there's no clear indicator of where exactly, the smiley faces were. They were just, again, within proximity of the bodies. So they kind of start digging into it a little bit and, really start picking apart these cases and, they're starting to believe that there's 1000% something to this not being an isolated event of drunk drowning, but this is definitely pointed. These people are definitely being singled out. They're definitely being profiled, and they're definitely being killed by either one serial killer or a group of serial killers at this time. And they're just like, we're on top of things. Well, then, after all these men start going disappearing, and it just keeps happening all around the Midwest. A very particular case kind of shows up that ends up validating these officers' suspicions quite a bit. And that was the 2002 case of 21-year-old Chris Jenkins. So this one happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's October 31st. It's Halloween. And Chris goes to a Halloween party with his girlfriend and a few friends at the Lone Tree Bar and Grill in Minneapolis. He ends up being kicked out of the bar. And then, the last time anybody saw him alive was the bouncer who watched him walk away from the bar. It seems that he left the bar by himself. And that was that.
And
On
what
February-
does that solve if you kick somebody out of the bar because they're so drunk and then let them walk by themselves somewhere?
Well, that's kind of the thing that makes this one interesting, because the different people in his group of friends had kind of given different stories about what was happening. So, but the main story that seems to be happening is that Chris and his girlfriend got into some type of fight.
Okay.
So, I don't think that the bouncer was necessarily trying to, be like, "Oh God, you're an asshole. Get out, just go die in the river, go swim in the river."
Well, no, not that. Just like in general, like if you throw somebody out of the bar for being that intoxicated, it should be like part of the bar's responsibility to make sure they're not alone or like have a
But what do you
car. Just
do?
don't send them off in the dark.
But what do you do with them? The police are going to come pick them up and take them home. And what if they don't have tax fare? If to call a taxi, and what choice do you have?
I don't know. That's just. I'm glad I don't drink anymore.
That's fair. I mean, they can't keep you at the establishment and let you beat up on your girlfriend in front of everybody.
Mhm.
Zip ties in a back room. Sleep it
A mob
off.
did it.
Fair. Yeah, I think maybe back in the 80s that was more acceptable than people were getting upset about the zip ties. I don't know. But this is 2002. This is when we had to start treating people nicely.
Oh God.
I get what you mean, though. Yeah, it's how much of that becomes the bar's responsibility versus, but again, what are you supposed to do with these people? You can't just have them in your bar destroying shit. I mean, it's just the way, which I don't know if that's what he was doing. That's just what they
What
said.
kind of piece of shit friends leave you just to go on your own? Like somebody go with the kid.
That part, 1,000% that part. Like that, in a lot of these cases, it's like, why would you just let your friend wander off? Why?
Right.
Like, what is wrong with you people? Some of them, they are by themselves. They're bar hopping alone, and then they
Right.
just go home. But in some of these cases, they're out with their people, and then people are just like, "Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead and go." Okay. So, but I think it's just an unseen danger, especially for the time that people didn't really realize. This was like before internet like it is now.
Mhm.
We were a different people then, I suppose, 20 years ago. So on February 27th, Chris's body was found in the Mississippi River between the 3rd Avenue Bridge and St. Anthony Falls. An autopsy determined that Chris had drowned. His blood alcohol level was well above the legal limit, and the manner of death was listed as, quote, unknown. However, the police believe his death was either an accident or a suicide.
Mm.
They theorized that Chris was drunk and either accidentally fell or jumped from the nearby Hennepin Avenue Bridge, which is pretty specific for that general area. His parents completely disagreed with what they said. They actually hired their own private detective, did their own private autopsy, which you can always do if you guys have anybody that ever dies that and you want to know more information about it. You can do your own private autopsy. Just know that you got to pay for it. But you can hire a PI to investigate it. That is your legal right to do so. But they believe that the police had mishandled the case. They claim that the police failed to interview anybody in the bar that night who had been with Chris, had seen Chris, the patrons that were there. And they also claim that there were some discrepancies on the body that indicated that he, in fact, did not drown in the water. So they just were very upset by this verdict. They thought that, this was mishandled. They said that when the body was found, the way it was found, it wasn't like in the water, it was like stuck between these logs.
Mhm.
And so they felt like he was put there. Um, they felt like just the way everything was placed, it wasn't right. And they felt like the police didn't treat this as an actual crime scene. They just treated it as, well, a water rescue. And, obviously, rescue is kind of a strange word to use, but that's what they call it, and pulled them out and went about their day. But things got weird because even though he didn't have the same type of indicators that somebody like Patrick McNeil had, who had obvious injuries on his body, but they just kind of ignored. In 2005, an inmate, somebody who's in prison on unrelated charges, decided to come clean to the police, and the police received a tip from this man who, um, he is out there, but I chose not to name him just because who knows why he confessed to this. but he stated that him and another man had accosted Chris on, guess what, the Hennepin Avenue Bridge, thinking that, he was super drunk, he would be a super easy target. He's dressed up, first of all, he's dressed up terribly like a Native American. It's his Halloween costume.
Wow.
Oof.
Yeah. And, he's stumbling through the road and they just thought, hey, there's a guy we can rob. And so they did. They approached him and, noting how drunk he was. And when they discovered that he had nothing of value on him, the other guy that the confessor was with pushed him off from the bridge into the water. November of 2006, police actually reclassified Jenkins' death as a homicide.
Hmm.
They said, yep, we believe it. That definitely happened. But to this day, no charges have ever taken place.
Really? People and somebody admitted to it.
I'm admitted to it.
And I think Chris Jink, okay. So his parents didn't think it was a drowning either because he was like the captain of the college swim team.
Yeah.
And drunk or not, like if he got in the water, he knows how to swim.
He knows how to swim. Right. So they were like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
No fucking way he drowned. They just weren't, they weren't into it. So I'm going to step away for just 1 second from Chris Jenkins. We're going to come back to it just to mention, remember, Chris disappears on October 31st, right?
Mm-hmm.
6 days after he disappeared on November 6th, 22-year-old student of student of University of Wisconsin, Michael Knoll, vanished after celebrating his birthday at a bar in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. 3 days after that, on November 9th, a 20-year-old Josh Gumand disappeared after leaving a small party at an apartment in Collegeville, Minnesota. And same situation. They were out drinking. They were with friends. They end up allegedly falling into water, and then they're ruled an accidental death. But again, these are all kind of back to back to each other. So mentioning them is kind of important. So you've got the disappearance in Minneapolis and one in Wisconsin and one in another one in Minnesota. So,
And just for some
yes.
geography, Eau Claire, it's about, I think it's like an hour west directly from Minneapolis.
I was going to ask. Yeah.
It's not like right next door, but it's pretty, it's not far.
Yeah. So it's pretty much.
Or sorry, it's about an hour east, other direction.
So on the border, pretty much. So
pretty close to it. Not right on the border, but pretty close.
Close enough. Yeah. So this is, it's starting to get interesting. And then obviously, you've got these detectives who are like, look, something's wrong here. And then you've got the Chris Jenkins case, which now converts to a homicide. And they take this and run with it. And this is finally validation that they're receiving. They said, see, we told you these are not accidental. These are homicides, and real people are being murdered. And more people went on to continue to get murdered just days after that because we're not doing enough to stop this. So, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts about the Jenkins situation?
As in, like, was it a suicide or was he a victim?
Just how it ties into the whole thing, I guess. I'm just taking a break from talking for a minute. I've been talking for a while.
Yeah, I get it.
I know in Eau Claire there is also a big river there. There's the Chippewa River, which is sort of a medium-sized river for Wisconsin as far as that goes. And yeah, like I said, it's only like an hour east. So, it would be within driving distance, technically, if someone were to be hanging out in Minneapolis, throwing people into rivers. It would be pretty easy to get to Eau Claire. It's right on the interstate.
Yeah. I do see the validation and all of this.
Yeah.
Did they do a toxicology report on Jenkins?
I believe they did, and I don't remember. Did I put that down? That he had, he had a high blood alcohol level. He was over the legal limit.
Mm-hmm.
But what's happening in these cases also, I guess let's go back and mention that for a second. In all of these cases, guess what they're not testing for?
What's that?
They're not testing for GHB.
I'm glad you said it because I was trying to think in my head what the initials were and I didn't want to screw it up. I knew it started with the G.
That's okay. Yeah, GHB, which is the date rape drug, it makes you real woozy and terrible feeling, and totally out of it for many hours, for like a day afterwards.
That's why I asked about the toxicology report.
So they're not testing for it, and let me tell you something about testing for GHB when it comes to these suspicious deaths. Period. In general, normally it's not tested for at all in toxicology reports because your body naturally makes GHB. So you're always going to test positive for it. It's the levels that matter. And it is completely out of your system in 12 hours.
Oh, wow. Really?
Mhm. Well, you're back down to normal levels in 12
Right.
hours. So, yeah. And that's why it's perfect for rapists. God, it's terrible to say, but I mean, gosh, that's why. I mean, it is why. I mean, by the time you come to and you realize what happened to you, it's gone.
Well, just so everybody knows that's listening, I am putting that in my will. If something weird happens to me, make sure to test the levels of my GHB in a toxicology report.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll pay for a private medical examiner and make sure. Yeah, even even I don't know what happens after you die, if it maybe filters through quicker, or if it stays the same. I don't know, because your body expels its stuff, right after you die. So maybe it moves through quicker, and that's what happened. But yeah, normally in these cases they don't test for it anyway. Which, at this point, I mean, how many young men with similar, archetypes need to die in order for you to think that maybe we should just try it? See what
Right. I was
happens.
just looking at the pictures of all of them and like they're pretty like just attractive college guys. I mean,
Right. They're just your general college kid, you know. But well, not really. I mean, they do tend. I mean, that is the special kind of thing about it because because Gannon and Dwart do eventually, create a profile of the killer, and they mention how important it is that these guys are who they are, being successful, being popular, being
athletic.
attractive,
Mhm.
athletic, right? And they end up coming to the conclusion that the killer is very specifically, taking these guys out because he himself is not popular, not successful, probably not attractive. I don't know. That's what they come up with as, who as
That's
the
the
profile.
profile.
Yeah. Is that's why. But I don't want to get too big into like theories yet.
Mhm.
I definitely have some. I'm just right now I'm just trying to give you guys what the facts are. And
Mhm.
then, we'll kind of talk about theories a little bit later on. But yeah, so far that is where we are. And then, let's go to the kind of the bigger part. Nate, is your time to shine on this one.
Oh boy.
We're getting into Nate's favorite, lacrosse, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Um,
So just a little bit of the
Yeah.
reason I am an expert here.
Please.
I went to UW lacrosse. I spent about 6 years there. So I know that whole area very well. I went to the UW there, which is the university school, and it's right on the Mississippi. It's a beautiful town. It's great if you like fishing or hiking or anything like that. Uh, and some other things as well that I'll get into in a few minutes here. But you go on first.
Sure, absolutely. So I only pulled one case from lacrosse, just because it does seem to be kind of the biggest one, and that is
It's the big one.
yeah, the big one, and that is the death of Lucas. I think it's Homan is how you say his name. Same situation. Lucas was out and about. He was out at Oktoberfest
Mm-hmm.
in lacrosse. And Nate, you said this is the biggest Oktoberfest aside from Germany.
I believe it is the biggest outside of Germany. I'm pretty sure it's the biggest in the US at least. It might be the biggest Oktoberfest celebration outside of Germany in the world.
Have you been?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They shut down the entire town gets shut down. It becomes impossible to go anywhere if you are in a car. They just straight up block off a bunch of the streets in the downtown area, because another thing with lacrosse is the downtown area is almost exclusively bars. Like, it'll be bar next door to a bar next door to a bar. Yeah, let me. I have a map just pulled up here. We have the Beer House, which is right next door to Shooters, which is right across the street from Broncos, which is the country bar, which is then across the street from the Crow. Then you got John's, and you got the Rustic, and you got the Helm. Then you got State Room, Digger's Sting, and a little bit more up, you got Dell's. There's Dell's. That's one street, 2 blocks.
Oh gosh. So it is.
That is what lacrosse is known for, is if you like to drink, boy, is there a great place for it. And Oktoberfest, yeah, it just gets fucking nuts. I remember one year, me and some friends were going around, and we had quite a bit to drink ourselves. You know, as you do, it's Oktoberfest. We started hearing these rumors that someone was throwing bricks at people. And so we went around, and we eventually found the guy who was throwing bricks at people and tried to go get him, because he was, throwing bricks at people, and he ran, and we didn't get him, but it did stop. So
yeah. Despite what Home Alone 2 would have you believe, like, you will die if you get a brick thrown at you. Like, that's a death sentence.
And like, there's cars flipped every year. Oktoberfest is a huge mess in, I think, a fun way. I love Oktoberfest in lacrosse. It's wonderful. It's just a complete madhouse. There's thousands of people, and it's a good time.
So a very easy place for something criminal to happen that people could easily overlook.
Oh, most definitely. No, the police are very busy. Too busy to actually, really get into the nitty gritty. Very easy for something
They were too busy to find the guy throwing bricks. You were chasing.
Yeah, I was on brick duty. Yeah.
True. That's true. And you are not now, nor have you ever been a lacrosse police officer.
No, okay. That is correct.
Just making sure. Yeah. So he goes there. This Lucas guy. He goes. Mm-hmm. He goes into the jungles of La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. Probably over to Broncos. Good bar.
So obviously this is September 29th, Oktoberfest season. And, he goes and he's having a great time. And then, of course, he disappears, and he is found October 2nd in the Mississippi River.
And specifically, he's found about 10 miles downstream. Which, again, it is the Mississippi River, but it is, he's not found in La Crosse. He's found downstream a little ways.
But everybody knew he was in La Crosse.
Yes, he had been partying in La Crosse at Oktoberfest with friends.
Gotcha.
I don't know how they got separated. Sounds like, again, it's an event that's very easy to get separated from your people from.
Yes.
One of those things where you get separated from your friends, but you find a different group of friends that, of new people, and you just kind of chill with them. Move on,
or just, hey, I want to get some pizza. Bye. I did that. That was my move. I would do that all the time.
Get pizza,
but that's because I'm like a fat guy. So
sure. Yeah. Fat guys do that. They like pizza.
Yeah.
So, he his body ends up found. Obviously, his autopsy revealed he had acute alcohol intoxication, very, very drunk. Mm-hmm. Not surprising. He's literally at an event where you are to, get drunk. Mm-hmm. His toxicology report all came back negative, except for the fact, again, GHB. Nobody tests for that. And they believe that he drowned. I mean, that was the report. He drowned. But this one gets a little wild. So for a guy that drowned, he had injuries to his head, his hands, and his arms, mm-hmm. including a footprint-shaped bruise on his forehead.
Mm.
That's a hard kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. A footprint-shaped bruise. It's interesting because the footprint shape is it's very narrow. It's very narrow. And who tends to have narrow feet? Well, women tend to have narrow feet. So that was kind of that kind of threw a wrench through the whole thing a little bit, right? Because we're looking for some guy who hates himself and is out here killing men because he hates himself. There was also really interesting controversy that happened after he was found. Another student was actually charged with obstruction in the investigation because he had told police that Lucas had gotten into an altercation with somebody at the bar, another bar hopping, and he had fled. However, what he ended up telling, and that's how they got separated. They were at a place, he got into a fight with somebody, and he ran from the scene. But what he went around telling other people was that he had gotten into a fight with this man, and there were actually 3 other men that got involved and beat him up pretty badly. And so he had told, different stories to the police compared to what he was telling to people. So obviously he was lying somewhere. He said when he got into the fight with the 3 men, what he was telling his friends and shit was that, he got into the fight with 3 men and he left the bar, and that the 3 men then continued to follow him. And that was kind of the piece of information. Now, the La Crosse police they couldn't stress enough, this student was not being held accountable to Lucas's death at all. Just that he had given 2 different stories to 2 different sources, so therefore he was charged with obstruction of justice.
Yeah, you gotta tell one story.
Yeah. So, but there, it was really interesting, how this all, like I said, came to be, because the guy was really beat up. Now, he could have gotten into a bar fight. He could have then left that bar, and he could have fallen into the river and drowned. Especially with a head injury, like a fucking kick to the forehead.
Yeah.
He could have also been concussed and fell into the river, and then he drowned. He could have been followed by those 3 men, and those 3 men were so pissed off and they were so drunk that they threw him into said river and he drowned. I mean, we don't know. We'll never know at this point unless somebody confesses and something further happens. But unless that happens right now, it's ruled as an accidental drowning because we don't know the circumstances surrounding that drowning.
Yeah, and so it should be said so where all of these bars are, this street that I was just talking about that is filled with like a million bars, it is about 2 blocks away from Riverside Park, which is the big park in town that is right on the Mississippi River. It's a beautiful park, but it is right on the river, and there are no guardrails. Why they have never put up guardrails on the Mississippi River, I don't know. It's always baffled me why they wouldn't have, even the most basic, especially considering it is like I think in spots it's like a 10-foot drop down into the river.
Oof,
Yeah, that could do some damage.
Yeah, and it is rocky right on the shoreline there. Like sometimes it drops not into the river but into some rocks first. And yeah, it's not patrolled. It's dark. There are no guardrails, and the Mississippi River flows a lot faster than it looks. Like it's, if you go to this park during the day and it's like, oh, it looks very peaceful. People have jumped into the river before at like some docks or something like that, and they go under, they jump in and they go underwater, and when they come back up, they're like 3 piers down because the river has already taken them so far.
Yeah.
It's it's the Mississippi River. It has a fast current.
Yeah.
So I think that should all just be kept in mind, just how close it is to all of these bars. And they do actually have the 3 colleges in town, which is the UW, the tech school, and there's a private school in town. They do now have, they call it the River Watch, which is especially around Oktoberfest, once the park closes, volunteers will go up and down just to keep an eye on everything and just to watch, so that no one, stupidly comes wandering over from the bars, as I had tried to do once or twice, to go look at the river at 2 a.m.
Now, is the River Watch because of this?
Yes.
Not just this guy, but all the guys that we're going to talk about here in a moment.
It is specifically, they don't name Luke Homan, but when you go to the University of Wisconsin lacrosse website, they specifically say after a horrible death in the fall of 2006, the River Watch was established to just keep an eye on things.
That's a good thing to put into place. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. The city stepped it up.
Well, first of all, it's not the city. It's the universities that do it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, the city, maybe a cop will drive through the park, but I think they're, at least when I was in school, which I graduated back in 2020, finally, after many years, I still don't think there were, I think there might have been 2 or 3 street lights, street lamps in this park, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
Still no guardrails. Personally, I would put up some guardrails. I feel like that would be a pretty easy thing to do for the river that it seems like people keep falling into, but
I mean, yeah, that would be a good start, but that's probably a city thing that would have to be done if they only want to send a cop by every now and again. I mean, they're not really going to take preventative measures.
Yeah, but the universities do have the volunteers and the volunteers are mostly other students who, they just keep an eye on things. If you're there, after the park is officially closed, they'll be like, hey, leave.
They're like the college version of the safety police.
Yeah, more or less.
So, the lacrosse ends up becoming ground zero, what they're referring to it as, which is Detective Gannon and Dwart, because it had actually had, between 97 and 2006, had eight of these cases. Lucas is just one of those cases. I didn't really pull any of the other cases. I don't know, Nate, if you had any knowledge into those other cases or wanted to bring them up.
Not of these official ones, but I will say, I started school in 2014. When I had first decided to go to lacrosse, everyone had told me, everyone in my family's like, oh, you better be careful for the Smiley Face Killer there. He is going after guys of my type, back when I used to be pretty.
So you're saying that you were a successful, popular, very attractive college student as well?
Yes, and I survived.
Allegedly. That's
yes.
You could be in hell right now.
I mean,
well, we're pretty close.
That is interesting. So, I mean, it really was the talk of the town. I mean, people.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't live in lacrosse. This was, my family back in Milwaukee, which is on the clear other side of the state, and it was people in Wisconsin knew about this. Now, I think it was told to me sort of in jest, but people knew the lacrosse, the Smiley Face Killer is in lacrosse.
Yeah. And, Lucas just kind of ended up being the face of the lacrosse situation because of the obvious signs of battery. There is more to the story. We don't really know what the more to the story is. Like I stated, we know he drowned, but why? What led up to that point? But people think that it's possible he ran off and was murdered, singled out by this killer because he was upset, because he was obviously drunk, or maybe one of the 3 in that group, or maybe that whole group were the Smiley Face Killers. We don't know, but that is kind of the theory that's put out there. And so again, because there was kind of some validation there, the families really pushed to get this reopened as a homicide case. Of course, the police have not done so. There just isn't enough evidence for them to even begin to try. I mean, this was 20 years ago now at this point. I mean, what can they investigate any further? Which is sad, but there's actually a lot of death that does take place that is exactly that. I mean, there's nothing more to do because the evidence for it just simply doesn't exist now. It's just gone. And what are you going to do? Try to ask a bunch of drunk people, where were you in 2006 at Oktoberfest? Like, they don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a hard one.
Yeah. So let's get into, I mean, I really didn't bring up, any other cases again. It's just a lot of this over and over and over again. If you guys want to pick apart those cases, there are some really great resources. I've named him before. I'll name him again, which we should collaborate with in the future. But Aiden from the Lore Lodge, he does a great breakdown. I think there's like probably 20 hours of him talking about each and every single one of these cases involved and really going into detail. So I mean, if you guys want more of that content, go support somebody like Aiden over at the Lore Lodge and listen to his stuff. But I want to talk about some theories. Obviously we have the big theory, right? The Smiley Face Killer itself, or the killers. I'll start and I'll rip the Band-Aid off. I don't think there's a killer.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
there's not. We do have another case to talk about, which we will talk about kind of here in a second, but let's get this part out of the way first. I don't think there's a killer. I think some of these people have been killed. I think they definitely have been murdered. Not all of them. But I don't think there's strong evidence that this is, an actual killer. Let's talk about the smiley face itself, shall we? And I agree with this. There was a detective who said that, good luck, especially in that time period, finding anywhere within a 5-mile radius that doesn't have a graffitied smiley face.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the easiest thing to graffiti.
Right.
Like, if I were to do graffiti, I have no artistic skills whatsoever. I'd probably do a smiley face.
Yeah, because you can.
I'm not really good with spray paint, but I would still do a smiley face.
Right, it's the easiest thing to do. Anybody can make a coherent smiley face. Anybody. I always think about the scene from Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where he, with the smiley face. Everybody knows. I'm not going to repeat that scene. But did you know that there is a sequel to Forrest Gump?
I did.
I did not know. I had no clue. It's not a movie, but it's a book.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to space and shit.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's like pretty crazy.
Check it out. Yeah. He goes to space, I think, with like an animal or something. Like a chip or something. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, just go anywhere where there's graffiti, you're going to find a smiley face. It's just the way it is. So these smiley faces being found, and in all these cases, which they're claiming, I think it's 45 cases at this point that are tied to this quote unquote killer. The smiley faces, again, they're inconsistent about where they're showing up. Sometimes they're where the body ends up being, but you can't predict that. If you're dumping it in the water, you don't know where it's going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes it is where they think it could have been dumped. Well, sure. Yeah, you could, dump anything and leave a mark there and be like, oh, this is where I dumped my garbage in the river. Don't dump your garbage in the river. And don't dump bodies in the river, by the way. That's disgusting.
But especially the garbage.
Especially the garbage, right? That's, at least, people were degradable, right? Biodegradable. Yeah. So it's fine. But,
yeah.
But you could market it with a smiley face every time you did dump your garbage in the river. And I guess, but you don't know where it's going to end up.
Just the cops walking down the river looking for graffitied smiley faces saying, oh, yeah, there was a body dumped here.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's just not how that works.
No.
And then again, that isn't always the case. Some of these people have not been found with smiley faces. And the smiley faces, they're not consistent. So it's not the same figure, right? Because anybody can draw a smiley face and it's a smiley face, but people draw them differently. If all three of us sat and drew one, they look different from each other.
And not that I'm going to murder anybody, but if I did in the middle of Oktoberfest with all these witnesses around, just walking around, I'm not going to take the time to graffiti a smiley face onto something after I dump a body.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
know. That would be a good time to do it. I mean, because nobody's really caring that you're graffitiing.
No one would care that you're graffitiing, but people would care if you're killing someone.
Right.
That's true. Well, you
And
would think,
that actually brings up a good point. And it's like, yeah, I mean, for 2026 Oktoberfest, all the hotels are already booked in La Crosse. Every hotel is probably booked already. Not just La Crosse, but in like the surrounding area. The town like doubles in size, and it's a 30,000 person town.
It's like Mothman
it's-
Festival.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's like the Mothman Festival, yeah.
Yeah. Like the idea to me of being able to quietly murder someone during that, it's people are everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't buy that. And then, let's talk about the profile of the killer. Again, he's hates these young, successful men. How does he know that they're popular and successful? Because, here's the thing. You're talking about murders that are taking place in Minnesota and Wisconsin, Illinois, Pennsylvania, probably Ohio, I'm sure. I mean, you're talking about it's multi-states.
Yeah.
Across multiple states that this is happening. And, again, how does he know? He would have to be stalking these people. I mean, you're in a college town. Obviously, you're killing people in college towns, and it's going to be a college kid, but that doesn't mean that they're successful.
Yeah. And I do have news for you about the Midwest. Pretty much all of the guys around like 19 to 22 look the exact same.
They do. Yeah.
For the most part. They all look like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's right. I mean, they're not anything special. I mean, now if you were going around maybe killing a bunch of goths, that would be like very specific.
Yeah, there might be a profile for that.
But, I remember hearing it's like, oh, yeah, it's like the specific haircut and like maybe blue eyes, I think is something that I heard. They go after boys with a specific haircut and blue eyes. And it's like, that's like half the town.
Yeah. They were wearing an Abercrombie and Fitch polo shirt. And it's like,
that's all of us.
Oh, what if they're dressed like Native Americans, though?
well, that's true. That one guy was dressed like a Native
Yeah,
American.
that's
That was
true.
different. That was different. And I think only one of them was an African American. But somehow they fit him in there too. And it's like, but that doesn't fit at all. If you're trying to say that there's a whole profile, like that's very different from what you're saying. So, I don't know. It just, again, this person would have to know these people personally to know, and for them to know all these college kids across multiple states in a short time period like that would be just almost impossible. But unless they were working in a group together, no, again, not necessarily. How, I mean, again, that's stalking. You'd have to stalk these people without anybody noticing for years. And to understand that they are successful and popular individuals. And
were they all like successful though, or was that just something the family and friends tagged on to their names?
Well, and that's fair because during like the news reports and stuff that you're never going to hear, oh yeah, man, they were, I loved them to death, but God, they made some really poor life decisions and they were kind of a piece of shit.
Right.
You never hear that. That's fair.
I will say, I know like Lucas Homan, he was a accomplished basketball player, I believe.
He was. There was articles and stuff written about him all the time for, how good at basketball he was or whatever. And then that one guy was captain of the swim team and, things like that. So, I mean, that does seem to be the case, but unless I'm going through all, 45 of the cases, I guess I can't say for sure.
Right.
But it just doesn't seem like the likely case. The other possibility that people have put out there are truckers. So,
okay.
Truckers hitting these people, these young men, and either killing them or hitting them in their body gets hit off into the river and they just keep going, like hit and run situations. But
there's no evidence of that though, is there?
if you got hit by a fucking semi truck, we would know.
Right.
And
One had a shoe print bruise on his head, but not like a grill bruise from an
Right.
18-wheeler.
I mean, right. Some of them had bruises and stuff, but like it would be worse than that. Just saying. That one was silly. Unless maybe you're talking about truckers that want to kill people and are, killing people, but maybe not necessarily.
I will say that whole, La Crosse to Eau Claire to Minneapolis there is kind of a human trafficking pipeline. It is something that it is something that is known there.
So, I mean, well, and some of these could, I'm not too full of myself to say that some of these couldn't be connected. They certainly could.
Right.
And I think if we really did pick them apart on an individual level, we certainly could find some strong similarities.
Right, but I wouldn't bank all my money on a graffitied smiley face being the thing that ties them together.
No, not at all. Not at all. But yeah, truckers. Truckers was another thing. And of course, the most popular theory, well, there's no killer at all. These men genuinely are drowning to death. Here's the thing. Drunk walking is 8 times more dangerous than drunk driving.
I believe that.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Yeah. I mean, drunk driving is more for yourself. It's more dangerous for the people around you, but drunk walking is more dangerous to you directly. This is something that happens a lot. And people, even just people out and about at night, walking around at night around bodies of water can be really dangerous. But when you're very, very drunk, it's very easy for you to lose your balance, fall over, walk, not see anything in the dark and walk away. I was reading different first responders stories about different situations that they had encountered from drunk individuals and the weird places that they end up in. Some of these places are just and people that survive definitely sometimes in deaths, but it's just really interesting the different areas that they can find themselves in, just not even knowing that they ended up there, especially if you're something like blackout drunk. I mean, it can be a very dangerous situation, and you should not. I mean, if you're drunk, you really genuinely should not be by yourself.
Right. No, absolutely not. That's why their friends are all assholes.
Yeah. I mean, people kind of normalize that a lot, but even I've talked about it before about how I puked all over Anne while I was very drunk and we were sharing the same bed. And, God, if Anne wasn't there, I'd have died.
Right.
If I was just drunk at home after a night out, I would have probably not been alive anymore. Yeah. I mean, and that scared me enough to kind of, I still drink, but I don't get drunk like that and won't.
What do you think about the the one guy, his body was still in rigor mortis, but it was 21 days, and that's not possible, and they're still recognizable after being found in the river after a crazy amount of days where they shouldn't be recognizable for.
That was what's his name? Was that the Todd? What's his name? Todd.
There's a few of them.
There is, yeah. So there's a lot of cases where they're found a month later, and they're found in warm bodies of water, and there's no decomp or very minimal decomp, and there definitely should have been. Again, I mean, I think that in some of these cases, these people were probably murdered. It happens. People kill people. Whether or not I think that they're all connected, is a different story. I mean, clearly in the Chris Jenkins case, we know that he was killed.
Yeah.
Because people admitted that he was. They admitted to it. I mean, I agree with those odd cases. I mean, but the reason why they're ruling it as a drowning in most of these cases, people have to understand, it's not because the police are intentionally trying to do a cover up. It's because police officers are notoriously really bad at their job. and they don't have evidence of anything else, and the only thing that the medical examiner finds is lungs
Water
filled with
in the
water.
Yeah.
So there's nothing. I mean, people think that, police work is and forensics is like the movies and the TV shows. It's not. It's not that clever. It's not that good. They're not that smart. They're just people.
Yeah, and I would say the people that are found with the water in their lungs, like, really did just, like, drunk walk into the water somehow and drown, because if you're gonna kill somebody, you're not gonna, like, just throw them in the river and hopefully they die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna kill
Yeah.
them first and then dump the body.
Yeah. I
And there
mean,
wouldn't
that,
be water in the lungs that way.
that's. I agree. I mean, that is typically the case, or people pushing people into the water. Even, I mean, again, yeah, technically they drowned, but they wouldn't have drowned if somebody didn't push them in there.
Right.
Oh, but they were still killed. I think
Mhm.
it's a good mix of kind of a little bit of everything going on. But I don't think that there's a dedicated smiley face killer. I don't think that symbol has anything to do with anything at all. And I don't think, and there's some people that take it even further, and they've gone into like, this is a cabal of killers, that this is like dark web related. And I didn't even go down that rabbit hole, because let's talk about Nate, that recent case, that, kind of really got you fired up about this topic. Did you have the details of that one pulled up?
I do. I have some of the basic details here for you. So,
Sure.
uh, last year, back in July, I believe it was July 23rd, a young student over at Viterbo University, which is the private school in town. There's 3 schools. They're all right next to each other. Her name was Elliot Hines. And after a night out at the bars, she disappeared and no one could find her, just like, a lot of the other stories. A few days later, her body was found downriver a little ways. And yes, she was, found dead. 22 years old, grad student, uh, just walking home from the bar. The last time she was seen was with her friends, and I believe she said, "Hey, I'm going home," and then she just never returned home. She was seen on camera that night around 3 a.m., 3:20 a.m., right near the river. So specifically, there's a hotel down there, and more specifically, there is a big bridge that we call the Cass Street Bridge, because it's connected to Cass Street that goes over the Mississippi River. She was last seen on camera walking towards that bridge. And that was the last time people had seen her alive. Uh, as you can imagine, almost immediately, everywhere that you could think of, it was, oh, the Smiley Face Killer has struck again. The Smiley Face Killer has struck again. As, even before they found her body, and they were having big search parties out, and they were obviously combing the river, but they were also looking elsewhere. There's a lot of like swampland in La Crosse as well, so people were looking there because you just don't know. But as that search was going on, and then afterwards, all I could hear anywhere was the Smiley Face Killer has gone again, killed again. Even though, this is, if we're going by the Smiley Face Killer has an MO, young woman is not,
Yes.
it's not what that is. But, people don't care. They people were starting to reach out to the family as well of this missing student, to be like, oh, she was gotten by the Smiley Face Killer. And what do you know? A few months down the line, the medical examiner finished their report. There were no drugs in her system, but she did have a blood alcohol level that was over double the legal limit. She was last seen walking towards the bridge that goes over the Mississippi River. Her death was ruled accidental drowning. Okay? You go onto the La Crosse subreddit right now. Here's a Reddit thread that I had pulled up from when, it was ruled to be an accidental drowning. I would say at least half of the comments here on this thread right now are, I've talked to the family. It's the Smiley Face Killer. This wasn't accidental. La Crosse PD might be in on it. And it's just, leave the fucking family alone.
Yeah.
What happened here was a horrible tragedy. Suicidal ideation was discussed for a while, but they couldn't prove that. It sounds like it was a horrible, awful tragedy. Why was she going to walk across the bridge at 3 a.m? Probably because she was fucking wasted,
Yeah.
And her friends let her go by herself again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to sort of rehash this trauma and to exploit the trauma of that this family is facing of, the death of their daughter. And she had a great group of friends. She was also, I guess, quote unquote, successful.
Mm-hmm.
It was this horrible accident, and all these motherfuckers on the internet. See, I'm getting a little bit Tobias on you here. All these motherfuckers on the internet, they cannot be convinced that it is not a serial killer, and they harassed the town. They took over the town. The place was filled with, influencers and people like that. And remind me again, who was it that made that video?
Yeah. So your favorite exploitation artist and mine, David Paulides, which we did the whole Missing 411 episode, talking about why he is not to be trusted. We found out that David Paulides, for one, has been charged with fraud in a court of law, and for two, has lied about a lot of the Missing 411 cases. And Nate, kind of the reason why this topic got resurgence was because, Nate, you had come across something on Twitter with him posting about this.
He had posted at least one video, I remember, on I believe it was on his YouTube channel. I cannot find it right at this moment, because again, this was back in this was probably back in the fall, if not late summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was posting, and it's like, it's definitely a serial killer and or serial killers who had done this. And it's like, fuck you, man. No, just shut the fuck up.
He's a big old piece of shit who got paid by taxpayer money to watch gay porn and then arrest the gay men who were watching the gay porn with him.
Yeah.
Stop bringing that up.
No, he should be known. That's what he's known for.
He should be known. Yeah. That's what he's so fucking popular in this community. I will never miss out on an opportunity to call his ass out about what he's doing to people. And what's sad is that the family of this poor girl, they're vulnerable. Okay.
Yeah.
My dad, all right, my dad died of a drug overdose. He overdosed on fentanyl. And, he has done drugs, God, since before I was born. So well over 30 years before he died of a drug overdose. And my family members, I have a lot of family members that believe that he did not, in fact, overdose himself because he had done drugs for so long, man. He was a master at doing drugs. It's the only thing he was good at. And so he
That's not real.
it is. He couldn't have possibly overdosed on the drugs. Obviously, it was his roommate that drugged him on purpose to kill him. For what? I don't know.
I've got friends that think like that too about the deaths of other friends, and it's just like, you can't blame anybody but the person that did it. Like,
it's denial.
Yeah, it can be hard to accept that something can just happen,
Yeah,
but it can.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And this girl kind of ended up being a really perfect example of it, but we've seen those examples because we do see these family members of these men in these cases come forward who are convinced that their family member could not have possibly died of drowning. And maybe, again, some of those cases, obviously, they did end up being a murder, right? We know that. But taking advantage of that grief is horrible. I mean,
Mhm.
just like we talked about in the very beginning with these creatures killing people. Leave the fucking family alone. Just leave them alone.
Yeah.
You know, of course they want to believe that it's something more because it's hard to accept that it was something as simple as this girl trying to walk home. You know, they want to think that there has to be somebody to blame here, and obviously it's kind of her friends are to blame, but leave those people alone too. Fuck, I mean they made a bad decision, but they didn't
They're
kill her.
drunk too, you know?
Right,
They don't
right,
Right.
they're
exactly.
not thinking, you
No, they're
know?
not
It's
thinking.
it's just it's something that's horrible and awful. Uh and sometimes horrible and awful things just happen.
Yeah,
And they can
Right.
happen to anybody.
to
And
anybody.
it
Like, I
doesn't
would never
mean
blame the friends and tell them it's their fault. It's not their fault.
no.
Like, she
No.
voluntarily went on her own. Like, she could have waited. She could have called somebody. You know what I
She's an
mean? Like,
adult. Yeah, she's an
yeah.
adult. She can make that decision.
Yeah,
But just, I
it's
mean,
not like
gosh,
lacrosse doesn't have, Uber or
Right.
anything like that,
Right.
or that it's particularly far to like get home.
and she
Lacrosse
didn't.
isn't a big city.
She didn't walk home expecting that she was gonna, drown to death. Nobody does. Nobody
Yeah.
thinks that's going. It's not you until it is.
Did
Yeah.
she
You know.
have to walk across that bridge to get to
Mm.
her home?
So no,
Okay.
that's the one part that really there's nothing over that bridge.
Okay.
That bridge leads to, oh God, there's a park over there, and then the interstate to go into Minnesota is over there. It seems like, there is a nice river walk over there. It seems like she was probably walking the river walk. We don't know that she actually went on the bridge or not. She may have just been
Okay.
walking on the river walk there. But the place where she was last seen specifically was there's a hotel, and she was seen, I believe, probably on the camera of that hotel, which is right next to that bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's not. I mean, she's not like demon possessed. Like she's not. It's not like something else is in control of her body and forcing her to walk the wrong direction.
Well,
It could have been
no,
one
but is
thing.
she that
Yeah.
intoxicated where she's just not making any good decisions right now, like,
Could
whatsoever?
have been.
The
Yeah.
bridge looks pretty at night.
Right.
It's as
Exactly.
simple. It's as simple as that. It's just the bridge is pretty. I want to go look at the bridge and maybe sit
Mhm.
on the edge and look down into the water.
Right.
Sure. And then I'll go home
Because
afterwards.
she could do it perfectly fine sober, so she probably never tried it that drunk before. She probably still thinks she could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And maybe just thought she could walk it off a little bit before she actually
Right.
went home. Who
Mhm.
knows? We don't know. We don't know what happened. But again, like Nate said, it just doesn't matter anyway because she's a woman. So even if there
Mhm.
was a smiley face killer, she doesn't match the
Mm-hmm.
the description. I mean, that's the way that is. There's also I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I didn't do much of the research, but I'd kind of actively followed this one for a while. There's also the Ladybird Lake situation. Ladybird Lake is in Texas, and kind of the same thing. People were saying for a long time that the reason why we weren't getting smiley face killers, smiley face murders in the Midwest anymore was because they had moved on to Texas because same situation. These men were found in this lake, from drowning deaths. And kind of a lot there for a moment, and people weren't really understanding why that was. That seems to kind of died down a little bit, but there was like an active Facebook group where an incident would happen and people would post about it. And like I said, I was in it for a minute and kind of looking at it. But of course, those people think that there's a serial killer now in Texas. Not just Texas, the UK. There is a very specific area where the canals are in the UK where same thing. These men are getting drunk, they're falling into the canal, they're dying, they're drowning. This is happening all over the world because again, drunk walking is
Right.
8 times more dangerous than drunk driving.
Yeah.
Well,
It-
where the canals meet sounds pretty dangerous.
And just in general,
Yeah.
I don't know much about the area, but probably,
You're right.
I'd imagine. Yeah, I mean, it's a danger to do that. And so, I mean, at minimum, I mean, the best we can do going forward is like, please, for the love of fucking God, if you're out with your friends, don't
Have a buddy
separate
system.
us. Exactly.
Go with a buddy.
Go with a buddy and stick with your fucking buddy. Don't let them leave with strange looking people that you don't know. Don't let them leave and go walking by themselves somewhere. Make sure that if they're leaving, they're getting into an Uber, right? Not just some random person's car, but an Uber if they're going to go by themselves. And if that's the case, you're there by yourself now, by yourself, alone, you also go with them. You also go home. Like,
Right.
it's just not safe. It's just not safe for many reasons. And it could be because there's a killer out there. And it could be because you're a danger to yourself because you're fucking drunk and you're making bad decisions. Like, it's just the way that is. I mean, this is kind of, just what it is at the end of the day. Again, maybe I'm missing a big piece of the puzzle. Some people insist that I, are going to listen to this and insist that I am because we didn't go over all of the cases. Like Cassie, you were bringing up the men found with rigor mortis after being dead for a very long time, allegedly. And it doesn't work that way, and stuff like that. Again, I will openly admit that probably some of these are murders. But I will also admit that probably some of these are just accidental deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just happens. And like Nate said, sometimes bad things just happen. It sucks, but
yeah,
it's just the way it is.
Like, we know we're murders. It doesn't matter because nobody got in trouble for it.
Right. I mean, right. And nobody, so did they go on to be serial killers? Were they just
Why wouldn't you if you knew you could get away with it that easily?
Well, true. They're still out there. Still attacking people.
On yourself in jail, and they're like, probably not.
They just let them. Yeah. Right. It's crazy how often that. Well, and we kind of talked about that in a whole episode when we covered the Erica Baker case.
Mm-hmm.
We pretty much know exactly what happened to that little girl, and nobody was ever charged for it. So, and nobody ever will be at this point. Even if we find her body and we know exactly where she is, we know exactly. It'll never happen.
Right.
So, that's just the justice system at play. Also, sometimes it sucks really bad. A lot of times, I would say it sucks really bad. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, and fun fact, I have to mention this. I have to be the comic relief. Lady Bird Lake, again, located in Texas, is also located on Rainy Street. Cassie knows this because I told her last week.
Yeah.
Lady Bird is the name of the dog in King of the Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they live on Rainy Street.
Wow.
Yeah. So obviously,
Hank Hill is a murderer.
Is a murderer, yeah.
I see it.
Yep. He's suffocating them with propane and dumping their bodies in Lady Bird Lake. So that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
I think that's a good one, yeah.
Smiley face.
What's that?
It's more believable than a smiley face.
We should call up David Pallades.
Yeah. That's not the case. He would probably make a serious post about, we have a name. It's Hank Hill. That'd be great. Yeah, that's it could be Cotton. Cotton did kill 50 men. So maybe that's a
I think
confession.
Bill. I feel like that's a Bill thing.
That, you know what, that could very much be a Bill thing. I could see him being a secret killer.
Yeah.
He's got nothing else. Might as well, But any final words on any of this? We'll go with Nate. How about you?
Yeah, I don't think there's a killer. Please leave the families alone. David Pallades, go fuck yourself. Always and forever there. Yeah, I don't know. It's sad. Mostly it's horrible accidents happen and they're horrible. Obviously, maybe some people were murdered. There isn't a serial killer or group of serial killers going around doing this across the Midwest. I think that's smart. I agree. Cassie, what do you?
I agree with all of that, and I would just like to say, getting shit-faced drunk does not help you in life at all. So just don't do it, and then don't leave by yourself if you're going to.
Yeah. And don't go to the river.
Yeah, don't just avoid water altogether if you're
Yeah.
that drunk.
Don't do it. I agree. Well, we do have a bunch of super sweet announcements happening next week's episode, so you definitely don't want to miss that. A lot of really cool things happening that I think you guys are definitely going to enjoy. Um, after I talk about all this death and tragedy, I want you guys to
You
enjoy
gotta
some
bring them up
things.
somehow.
I know, right? We gotta get somehow. No, it'll be fun. So stay tuned for that. Nate, thank you so much for joining us on this episode.
Yes, thank you for letting me come on and talk about horrible tragedies.
Now you can also be a figment of everyone else's imagination and not just mine.
There you go.
Oh my god, you should edit the episode and all your parts is just silence.
Ooh, or what if I did like the Charlie Brown Peanuts, like the
Yeah. The wah wah wah.
yeah, the womp 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 womp.
You just put like the freaking Google like GPS voice on there.
After everything, you're like, turn right at the light.
It would only take like 4 or 5 hours to probably put all that together.
It's not too
Stay
bad.
away from the river.
All right, guys. Well, with that being said, we will see you back here next Wednesday.